Thank you for joining our online worship.
Good morning. Thank you all for logging on this morning. It's a beautiful day outside. I want to pray this morning. Be able to close your eyes and bow your heads.
Thank you, Jesus.
Father, we want to thank you for another day. We want to thank you, Lord, for blessing us to get through the week. We thank you for you giving us the strength. Thank you, Lord, that we stand and we depend and we lean on your word. Father, on today, God, we ask you, Lord, that you have free course on today. That as your word comes forth, Lord, that it'll fall on good ground. Thank you, Lord, for giving us answers. Thank you, Lord, for giving us solutions. Father God, we invite you to our hearts, into our minds, into our spirit.
Yes, Lord.
We ask you, God, to settle there. That you see there, that you rest with us, and you speak with us.
Yes,
Father
Lord.
God, as the word comes forth on today, God, through your service. Father God, I thank you, Lord, that you're giving clarity of mind, clarity of speech. Thank you, Lord, for the dunamis power that's going forward, God. The word, God, is sharper than any two-edged sword. So, Father God, we thank you, Lord, that your spirit is here, resting among us, in our hearts, in our bodies.
Yes,
in
Lord.
Jesus' name, amen.
Hallelujah. Amen.
We thank and we praise God for you joining us this morning as we take time to come to the Lord's table. We know that in Him we live, we move, and we have our being. So at this time, if you would gather your bread and gather your cup. We call to our mind, therefore we have hope. We thank you for your faithfulness. We thank you that in your faithfulness we are not consumed. We thank you as we lift up the cup, as Jesus gathered with his disciples and he said to them, after he had prayed, he took the bread and he gave thanks, and he broke it and he gave it to them, saying, "This is my body given to you. Do this in remembrance of me." And in the same manner, after the supper, he took the cup, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. For I tell you, I will not eat it again until it finds fulfillment in the kingdom of God." Let us eat and drink together. You are my strength. You are my strength. Strength like no other. Strength like no other. Reaches to me. Come on, let's lift that up in the fullness of 32. The book of Genesis, chapter 32, the book of beginnings, chapter 32, verses 24 through 32. And I also want you to join me in Psalm 11, verse 3. Genesis 32, 24 through 32, and Psalm 11, verse 3. I do believe that there is a word from the Lord for you on this morning. I want to continue what we began last week, the power of the church, and I want to, as a subtitle, speak to us from the thought foundations and fabrics. Foundations and fabrics. I'm reading from the New Living Translation, and it says, during the night Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 servant wives, and his 11 sons, and crossed the Jabbok River with them. After taking them to the other side, he sent over all his possessions. This left Jacob all alone in the camp. And a man came and wrestled with him until the dawn began to break. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of its socket. Then the man said, "Let me go, for the dawn is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." "What's your name?" the man asked. He replied, "Jacob." "Your name will no longer be Jacob," the man told him. "From now on you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God," come on here, "and with men, and have won." "Please tell me your name," Jacob said. "Why do you want to know my name?" the man replied. Then he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God. For he said, "I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared." The sun was rising as Jacob left Peniel, and he was limping because of the injury to his hip. Even today, the people of Israel do not eat the tendon near the hip socket because of what happened that night when the man strained the tendon of Jacob's hip. I want to draw your attention to Psalm 11, verse number 3. Verse number 3 says like this: "If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do?" Hallelujah. Why don't y'all take your seats in the presence of the Lord. I want to start this morning as I attempt to say what God has said. Amen. The fabrics of our lives are full of adventure, full of stories of triumph, stories of birth, full of joy, full of sorrow and grief. It's all in the fabric of our lives. From the most southern states as far as the panhandle of Florida, to the rural streets of Alabama and the dark, dusty roads of Georgia, Virginia, and Maryland, the fabric of our lives are rich with heritage. Richly blended lives that have been the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich, all at the same time. The fabric of our lives have helped us to reach ahead while looking back to ensure that no man is left behind. The fabrics of who we become is like experiencing the moving from cotton to polyester, from polyester blends to lycra, to realize that cotton and linen have always been the coolest to wear, the most versatile to use, and the most effective. The fabrics of our lives, the versatility of our lives are vast, as many as the faces in the world. Yet it is these fabrics of consciousness that make us who we are. The creation, created to represent multiple to become. I need to say that again. Because we do not, as the scripture tells us, wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against principalities and powers and rulers in this world. We wrestle with the changing, hear me when I tell you, we wrestle with the changing fabric of our own characteristics about who we are to become. I like what John said in the Gospel of John as Jesus was speaking to his Father. He said, Father, make them one as you and I are one. I'm talking about foundations and fabrics. I'm going to probably stretch you just a little bit because you hear the wrestling of Jacob with the angel of the Lord. But let's be honest, in this season, we are wrestling with inequalities and inequities, and we are wrestling with the poor of the poor and the rich of the rich. We are wrestling, but we are not wrestling for what someone else can do. We are wrestling to fulfill our destiny. Hallelujah. We are wrestling to fulfill what God preordained for our lives. We wrestle alongside the band of brothers and sisters. We wrestle for a time that was prophesied that is to come, and it is coming, church. We wrestle. I want to suggest to you this morning, the wrestle is about foundations. The wrestle is about foundations. We are wrestling for the foundations. David said in Psalm 11, verse 1 through 3, he said, in the Lord I put my trust. He said in Psalms 11, verses 1, 2, 3, how can you say to my soul, hide? Flee to the mountain. You can read it. David says, for the wicked bends the bow. In other words, the wicked looks like they're getting away with something. The wicked are upon me. But he says to us in this text, are you with me? Even as the wicked are bending their bow, something here. Foundations are the fabric of a people that trust God. Foundations are what people of God, the righteous, trust in. We don't trust in chariots. We don't trust in horses, but we trust in the name and the power of our God. But while we wrestle, while we try to make sense of this, put your trust in God. While we try to make sense of this, understand that this should provoke you, yes. And it should produce, but it should produce something in you. And it should produce the spirit of a finisher. Oh, bless your name, oh God. Here's number 2. The Lord said to me, as we wrestle to ensure that our foundations are steadfast and unmovable. He said when we wrestle with God, what happens is our true character comes out. Yeah, the trueness of who we are. Listen, in other words, your foundation will be exposed. love he has for you. Until we meet again, be encouraged in the Lord. Why don't you join me as we